much, Bobby Darren. We'll have to get back to you another time. Good morning to those of you joining us now on GBN Television. Again, welcome to our Classic Radio listeners. Welcome to another edition of the Mid-Morning Buzz. I'm Janelle. And joining me this morning are two officers of the Royal Grenadier Police Force. They are a weekly Tuesday guest. And this morning we're on the Western Division at the Victoria Police Station. To be precise, we're talking with the head of the station, Sergeant Henry, and Corporal Dupree. Officers, good morning and welcome to the Buzz.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good morning to you, and a pleasure to be here and to be in.
It's always our pleasure to have you. I always say these programs are very informative and for the benefit of the populace. And this morning, I believe we are talking about some new community policing initiatives that you are implementing from your division. And we're interested to hear. People always say the western side seem to be a little republic unto themselves. So we're interested to hear about the community policing initiatives that are on stream.
Right. Well, Janelle, and it has been a while since I've been on GBN, but I'll always be family to GBN, part of the family. I hope you haven't forgotten me.
Never.
But I'm here still, right? So it's really a pleasure. I'm happy that you always give us the avenue so that we can connect with the community. And this morning is no exception. So I'm here this morning with Sergeant Henry, and he's in charge of the Victoria Police Station. And as mandated by the Commissioner of Police, the Royal Grenadier Police Force, have a mandate, right? So, which is strictly based on our community policing initiative. The Commissioner of Police have made it clear, and he have demanded from all station departments that we pay particular attention, and we pay a certain level of commitment towards our community policing approach, our community policing initiative. Because what we have to understand based on research is that we cannot operate as we have done in the past, heavy-handed. We have to communicate with the community. We have to build bridges between the police and the community, and a lot of emphasis are being placed on that. So the Victoria Police Station, in light of that, this initiative would have come up with some programs, to really bridge that gap, so they can communicate, so we can have that interaction, we can build that bond between the police and the community members, right? And that is being led by the officer in charge of the Victoria Police Station, which is Sergeant Henry. So he's going to speak to that, right? But just before he took over, I just want to briefly speak to the community policing initiative, what we follow, right? Because the Royal Grenadier Police Force, they have 3 pillars of focus for 2021. And they are mainly community safety, maintaining law, and decreasing incidents of crime. Next pillar is building public confidence and improving the effectiveness and efficiency in how the police operate. So a lot of what we do, we should be guided by those 3 pillars, right? So hence the reason why, and all that ties in with whatever initiative that we may have in terms of how we connect or relate or we deal with the community. So I'm going to ask Sergeant Henry, and he will give you a brief and get into details of his initiatives, and I will hand you over to Sergeant Henry.
Thank you.
Pleasant good morning to GBN, and
we're getting a lot of feedback. So probably, Corporal Dupree, you could probably mute your mic now, because I believe you're in close proximity and we're getting feedback from one mic.
Right. A pleasant good morning to you and the listeners of GBN. As Corporal Dupree had said, I'm Sergeant Henry, and part of the responsibility of the Royal Grenadier Police
Sergeant
Force.
Henry, we're getting a lot of feedback that is making it very difficult for what you're about to tell us, and we really want to hear you.
I think it should be okay now.
Okay.
Papa, don't mute his mic, so it should be okay now. Right, I was saying part of the responsibility of each station is to do the mandate of the commissioner by implementing, creating community-focus-based initiatives. And of course, Victoria Police Station was not left out. And we had embarked from the month of January to do a number of those programs. We started doing walkthroughs throughout each and every community in the Victoria Policing District. We then move on to the youths, where as of this weekend, we will be having a road race from Samaritan to Victoria playing field, the All St. George Park, starting from 3:30 in the evening.
Okay, then Henry, sorry to cut you, but before you continue, what was the first initiative you mentioned? You mentioned something before.
Right. The first initiative was community walkthroughs.
What are those?
Where we did community walkthroughs where the police team up together with the nurses in the area, and we visit every community on foot, listening to the people cry, speaking to them to build a relationship between the public, the police, and the nurses, of course, which work with us as our social partners.
Okay.
We also distributed hampers to the needed persons in those communities. And we did all the communities of Victoria. We started in Non-Parallel, and we came all the way Waltham, River Sally, Coast Guard, Diamond, and Bonnet. And now we have completed that area of walkthroughs. We are now doing what we call other community programs, such as a road race to interact the youths and the public at large together. Then we'll be doing a youth program in the form of a small goal football competition, a 7-a-side small goal football competition, which begins on Tuesday the 27th. And notwithstanding, we are not leaving out the elders, the elderly. There's a home in Victoria, the Charles Memorial Home, and we are going to go into that home on Friday the 23rd and do some cleaning up of that surrounding of the home, replanting of vegetables, cabbage, lettuce, vegetable crops. We believe that will be essential to the needed or the elderly folks at that home. And we also thinking of contributing towards that home agricultural produce, because we have the farmers on board with us, we have the fishermen on board with us, and we have the busmen of Victoria and Sutters on board with us. So we want to contribute to them on a fortnightly basis some of this produce from the farmers, from the fishermen, and the busmen will partner and give cleaning material to that home. And we are doing that all in the name of community programs and community-based initiative as one of the pillars, Corporal Dupree would explain to you, of the mandate from the Commissioner of Police. And we are doing just that.
I think I'm very, very heartened to hear about those initiatives. You know, a lot of the times we see the silly videos and, you know, people get the wrong impression. But I grew up knowing the police, you know, being a friend to the community. And I think somewhere along the line, we probably lost sight of that. But I'm happy that you're bringing back those initiatives. You say you started in January. What has been the response like so far? And are you getting cooperation from community members?
I must say, the response has been tremendous. It has been tremendous, and it's always exciting when you go out in that community to meet the elderly folks, to meet the youths in the community, because they're so accustomed to police coming to deal with a report. Here it is. The police have no report, but the police coming to meet and greet us, and also distributing hampers to the needy in the community. That was well received and also informative. As a result of the community initiative of the walkthroughs, that gentleman from Chantemel, it was information that led us to the recapturing or the finding of that gentleman, which went missing for over 1 week, all because of community initiative done by the police. And we want to applaud those persons that gave those information. It was vital. It was home coming back once more for that gentleman to his family, who is now reunited with his family. So we see those fruits of community policing are being borne and continue to be in the future.
Sergeant Henry, we're losing your video though. I don't know, something is distorting your video. We could barely see you.
Right.
You mentioned that you're seeing the fruits of your labor, and I really want to commend you for that. You know, it's a very proactive approach, and I'm sure, as you say, you would get more cooperation, because I've seen in the past where you were looking for wanted persons on your social media page. Well, not you per se, but the RGPF. And you know, some of the comments, you see people saying, let the police do their work and not helping, and you know, those types of comments. But if you have that bond with the community and they trust you as a partner who's there for them, as you say, not to make an arrest or to serve a warrant, but somebody who's there, as you say, with hampers, interacting with the community members, helping, you know, giving to the homes, the produce, that collaboration with the farmers, with the fishermen, that is critical to building the community. So kudos to your commissioner as well for passing along that mandate, and to, of course, the officers for following through on it.
Of course, we must say thank you very much. It has been an initiative since way back that has worked for the police, and this commission, I must say, had used it as one of the main focus of community involvement, community policing, and that's just what we just kind of fulfill that mandate as handed down from the Commissioner of Police.
Do you know if that initiative is also being rolled out in other police stations across the island?
I must say, this initiative, I can only speak of the West because I'm part of the West. It has been rolled out through the entire policing district of the Western Division. In Sotters, there were a number of community policing initiatives, the walkthroughs, even the church services. All those has been done by the West. Down at Guav, they also have the interaction of cricket, where the police partake in a little village competition as part of involvement with the community, and of course the walkthroughs. That was done there also. Even down at the station at Grand Roy and Union, the two smaller stations, all 5 stations in the West had this initiative going. So as I say, I can only speak of the West because I'm part of the Western. But as I say, it's a mandate by the Commissioner. And of course, we expect all districts and divisions to follow suit.
Okay. Earlier in the year, when we interacted with another officer of the CRD, they were mentioning that the COVID virus and the protocols in place were hindering their ability to do much community policing. You don't have that challenge?
Well, I must say, as time goes on, once you equip yourself, we make sure we go to the mass. And it's not a situation where 10 police in one home, which are just spread out while doing the community visit. You may find 2 or 3 officers, but they will see the officers on the road walking, well guarded, and we will greet them in spite of the situation, bear in mind the protocol. So we have not taken that challenge and make it a problem. We had actually challenged the challenge.
Okay. Corporal Dupree, if you could unmute for a minute. I know you've served at both the Central St. George State Division, and you're now in Victoria, which can be considered rural. Do you get a feeling that the cooperation in the rural areas is greater than in St. George? Can you see a program like that rolling out in the city?
Well, we have had good cooperation in the rural area. I've been on the Western Division for the past 3 years. And we have had several community-based initiatives. And I can tell you that we have gotten much support from community members. And I know that when I was in St. George, most of my years in the force have been in St. George. We have had several community policing initiatives, and we got good response. I think that people relate to to police when they believe that our intention is genuine, when they believe that what we are doing is in the best interest of the community. People will relate, and we have had this communication. We had this good relationship based on that, because a lot of what we do, we are not doing it because we want to do it or because it's maybe something everybody else is doing. What we're trying to do is really to build that relationship with the community, because we understand that policing now is not as where it used to be, right? Communication, if you look at the key focus areas, especially for 2021, it speaks about building public confidence. And I believe if you want the public to really have confidence in you, you have to be professional. You have to show them that you care about their needs. You have to show them that you are ready to work with them, show them that you are part of them. We are not just sitting in our office and wait for someone to come to us with a problem and then we try to see how we could resolve it. Just yesterday, I was having a meeting with my inspector, and he was saying, that cannot be how we operate. We need to get out into the community, find out what is the problem in the community before you reach to us, and find ways on how we can address it. So this is proactive policing, and this is how we're looking to go forward. I was just recently having a conversation with another colleague of mine, and we were speaking about officers she knew when she just joined the force, that they was big and they was strong and they was scary and so on. But those things have changed, right? You can be as big and strong and so on, and you're out there and the smallest kid, you're not going to frighten him, right? But we have to change that approach. So our approach now is communicating with each other, showing each other respect as much as we expect cooperation and respect from you, showing in the community that we are willing to show you the same respect and cooperate with you, understanding that you may have challenges and situations, and trying to find solutions between the police and the community and how we can really resolve the problem. And I think that is the best thing. I think that we are making headways. We have gotten a lot of support in that. I want to commend all the division for the efforts that they have made. And you asked the sergeant earlier on, if it's just a Western Division initiative and so on. It's not just a Western Division initiative. As I said, it's a mandate from the Commissioner of Police that every station, every division will pay some key focus on those areas of community policing. So the Victoria Police Station, after they do the investigation into the community and what is it the community like, what the community is like, they will develop programs based on the culture of their community. Guav might be a little bit different from Victoria. So Guav policing area will do the same thing, right? And then whatever we do are supported by the entire division, because it's one police force and the entire force. And the same thing goes to the other division, the Western Division, the Eastern Division. Every station do what is best for their community, and then the division, with all what is done with the community, take a whole divisional approach to support what is best for the division. And then at the end of the day, you have all communities, all division come together under the one armpit of the Rotterdam Police Force, and we support everything that is in the best interest of the entire island, Grenada, Caribbean, Martinique.
That's the kind of news I like to hear sometimes. Sometimes we hear all the bad and so much good going on. We don't hear about it. There is no spotlight on it. We need to keep the spotlight on initiatives like these. Is there any room for further cooperation with maybe business people or other community individuals who are interested in partnering with the police?
Well, there is, and I show the Sarge will allude to that. But just before you go ahead, before I ask him to speak to that, is one thing that, and one of the things that we always do, And I say all the time that it doesn't make sense that we go in the community and we do something by ourselves. And then, and I feel we accomplish so much, and then at the end of the day, we does not accomplish much. It is important that we partner. So it's not just the police going and do in the community. What the police are doing, we are partnering with the community. So we get in the community to be stakeholders of what is it we're doing. We have a program we're going to run. Sometimes we get resourceful persons from the community to help us lead that initiative. We get other persons from the community to assist us, because this person might even have more knowledge about the community that we do, because they're from there, they are the ones on the ground. So we work with the community so they can help us. So it's not just about the police going there, it's the police partnering with the community and also the business community. So maybe the Sergeant Henry maybe want to speak about how the relationship with the business community has been and how supportive they have been in terms of his particular projects.
Sergeant Henry?
Yes, I must say the social partners at Victoria community, the business personnel in Victoria had been very supportive to us. And that's why I was able to mention the inclusion of the farmers and the fishermen. We also have the citizen advisory body in Victoria. We have football clubs. We have a gas station that will be run by the fishermen. And our inclusion with them is to be part of the meetings where we can further guide them on certain aspects as it relates to the development of the youth in the community. Then there is a youth arm at Victoria, which is also in partner with us, that whatever we do, we discuss it so we can get ideas from different angles in deciding what is the best program that we can run and when we can run. So we have support from the business personnel, the fishermen, and of course, we have all the fishermen and the farmers with us. As we have a farm watch program, we have a fisherman cooperative, then we have the citizen advisory body. So they are partnered with us to ensure that this community venture be a success.
Okay. Is there a vetting process for the partners you align yourself with? And I'm only asking because I know sometimes you may find there are maybe a couple of unscrupulous people in the midst who may use the opportunity to, forge a relationship with the police just to probably cover their own nefarious activities. Is there a vetting process to make sure you don't get in bed with somebody who is probably doing something illegal?
Well, I must say the reason why we are partnering with social groups, with business personnel, instead of an individual, because we look for transparency. And that's the reason why we are not partnering with an individual, but we are partnering with a sports club, with a farm watch organization, the fishermen cooperative. They all have their own association or their groups. So we look at the partner with them in that aspect and not an individual or such that is likely to run in contravention in one of those issues that you mentioned.
Right. And those things are, they're important to watch. Next thing you know, you get a donor that come and say, hey, officers, let me give you a 20 grand. Next thing you know, they're looking to cover something and use it. And it's going to be difficult to try to arrest that person after if they're funding some of your initiatives. Is there anything else you want to touch on before we wrap this segment?
Corporal Dupree will wish to speak.
It's just a few things. Just to add to what Sergeant Henry would have said in terms of the question he asked about vetting. Because we understand in whatever you do in every section, every community, that there are rogue persons, individuals, right? So we understand that and we will work that if persons are maybe are not what we need or not what is best for our interest, we work with them to see if we can get them to change, right? So it's not a situation we're trying to isolate. Because if we have persons in the community that may not be of the best standard and we isolate them, then that might just create more problem for us. So if we could work with them to get them to understand that, look, what we're doing is best for everyone, and we get them to change, then that is good for us. But yes, we have to work with them at arm's length away, understanding what their intention might be, and so then, we can get the best out for them, but not to get them to really destroy what we're trying to establish, right? And just to add to what Victoria is doing, right? As community relation department within the division, we also comes up with our own initiatives, right? We support the initiatives of the other station and division, and we have our own initiatives. So one of the initiatives that we have, community relation department Western Division, is that of awareness drive on child sexual abuse. It's not a new program. When I came in the division, we started it, but we only targeted CEPA class. Now we are expanding that program to secondary school. So what we have teamed up with SVU, and we will be going to the different schools within the entire division to speak to young persons, and we also intend to make address in the PTA, so parents will get appreciation of the dangers of sexual predators. What is what is happening with sexual violence, especially against young people in our community. We want to put these young people in a situation where they understand and they know how to defend themselves, or in case they become victims, that they know which steps they can take. So this is one of the initiatives, and we have also been looking at another initiative we want to launch, because we realize that there has been a serious problem with delinquent persons in our community, a lot of young persons and parents having challenges. We are looking to have this roll out the parenting program initiative within the division. It's something we're in the developmental stage, and it's something that I'm really excited about. And we're looking for the support of the community, whatever what Sergeant Henry is doing here, and what all the other station and division are doing. We cannot be successful if we do not get the cooperation and the assistance of the community, of the business community, the social groups, everyone else. Because as I said, it's not about us, but it's about the entire community. We have been getting good cooperation, and we look forward for further cooperation. So it's been a pleasure. I'm really happy that we were able to be on use your medium this morning, and we're looking forward to working with you and all the other business community, social groups, everyone who work with us to make sure that we remain a safe haven as we have been. So it's a pleasure, and thank you very much.
Indeed, it is our pleasure. And folks, I'm going to expose a little bit of Corporal Dupree's business here this morning. He's a past Rotaractor and a club whose motto is service above self. And I can see the Rotaractor in him this morning, deeply involved in the community, giving back, making sure the young ones are taken care of, making sure that,
And I'm presently, a Lion member, so I'm a member of the Lion Club.
Again,
yes, I'm a Lion
organization. You see what I'm talking about? He is deeply embedded in the communities that he serves, and we need more like you in the force. Service above self, and you can see it in the work that he does. Sergeant Henry, you have a great asset at the station, and I can see you putting him to good use. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being with us on The Buzz this morning. Very informative program, and the type of news I like to bring. We have so much bad news, and we have the good news. We have the great initiatives like these. We need to highlight them. We need to keep the spotlight on them. Thank you again for coming and sharing, and continue doing the great work in the Victoria Police Station and your communities. We leave it here, folks. It is 26 minutes on to 12. Don't forget, on Classic Radio, the midday edition of news comes up at the top of the hour. Stay with me still on Classic Radio. We say goodbye to our television and social media viewers at this point. Have a great Tuesday. Bye-bye.